We are on fire alert at the command post here at the High Park Fire above Fort Collins.
I'm Anna Cabrera alongside Mitch Jelniker. Just within the last hour, we received an update. This fire is growing this morning. It's now more than 43,000 acres in size. That's more than a couple thousand acres that it's grown in just the last few hours, Mitch.
Yeah, just since we last talked even this morning. We're also learned that we're getting more help. That's a very positive thing. Right now, 500 firefighters are back in those hills, which you can't even see because of all the smoke fighting this fire. By tomorrow, that number is going to be up to 700 or 800. And the number of trucks out there working this one, they're going to have 100 engines by tomorrow fighting this fire.
Of course, air support is another issue, and we were over in Air Tracker 7 earlier this morning. Couldn't really get close enough to see the fire activity, but we can tell you firefighters say they are making some progress in this. Of course, air support is really key in this attack. Unfortunately, there's been a temperature inversion and smoke inversion earlier this morning. The good news about that is it was cooler temperatures overnight, higher humidity, calmer winds, but that's also kept the smoke down. So the air tankers were yet to see fly this morning. At some point, though, today, we are told we will see more than a dozen aircraft working on the flames back here.
And that's something that many residents had asked earlier in the week. When will we begin to see more of that? Well, we are. And we heard from the man in charge, the commander for the Type 1 team, the feds, if you will. And he told us today this fire is a priority across the country. Here's what he said about the progress being made when it comes to containment.
We thought we were around 5%. My hope for today, estimate would be we should be around 10%, weather dependent, and all those conditions changing that will affect that.
So again, the air tanker's not up, but the planes surveying the area are up right now. We're finally able to see those homes destroyed by the fire today. We've learned that 62-year-old Linda Stedman died in this fire. This was on Saturday afternoon. Her centuries-old cabin was on Old Flowers Road. Firefighters say they tried to reach Stedman with 2 phone calls, then a firefighter was sent in.
By the time I had a firefighter that could get through the lock gate and get up there, he was chased out by fire.
The flames very, very intense. And now the family released a statement, and it reads, "We would like to commend all the firefighters and all the emergency personnel dedicated to saving lives and property."
So this fire now deadly. We've also learned it has consumed about 120 structures. It's unclear exactly how many of those are homes. Of course, evacuees really anxious to check on their homes. And it's important for us to be very respectful and sensitive about this information. But so many of you are saying we just want to know. So we have put some pictures of the homes in the fire zone that we were able to get a look at via Air Tracker 7 yesterday and early this morning. You can log on to our website at thedenverchannel.com and take a look at those pictures if you're among those evacuees wanting to check on your home.
Yeah, and we have also the latest look at the evacuation area. People in those areas are out of their homes. About 89 more just put on alert, ready to evacuate. That doesn't mean they have to evacuate. It just means that they may be in one of those zones where they may be asked to leave at a moment's notice.
We understand that's on the northwest side of the fire, and that's where we have our Tyler Lopez right now. He's located on US 287. That's north of Ted's Place.
And Tyler, you're seeing some increased activity there where you are.
We really are. I can actually show it to you based on the houses behind me, Mitch. This is along 287. This is the Cherokee Hills neighborhood. Bonner Peak is just to the south, and Glacier View is just around the bend to the north and to the west. And the problem is that's exactly where the fire is going. This house behind us with the blue roof on it that you can see, when we first got here about an hour and 15 minutes ago, the smoke was directly over that house. It has now moved at least 2/3 of the way across this ridgeline to where it's almost directly behind that brown house there. That's a lot of growth in about an hour and 15 minutes. That's the reason those folks just to the north and west of us in Glacier View have been told to get ready. Pre-evacuation notices have been sent to 89 phones in that Glacier View area, south of County Road 74E. It's south and east of McNay Hill. This includes Hewlett Gulch Road, Deer Meadow Way, and Gordon Creek Lane. All those folks, again, don't have to leave, just been told to be on pre-evacuation standby to go. That's the concern late this morning, but this day had a bizarre feel to it with an orange-red sunrise, a lot of smoke in the city itself, and now we're watching a obvious and definite increase north in the northwestern direction of this fire. And so far, of course, as you said, not a single air tanker, not a helicopter yet because of that inversion layer, guys.
For a second.
Okay, thank you, Tyler. We were showing you that same area yesterday, and we're going to pan off and just look at for a moment here. It's tough to make out the outline of those foothills here because the smoke has gotten so thick. This has pretty much been the story all morning long as the sun came up. It's just tougher and tougher to see. Yesterday at this time, if you look down some of those canyons, you'd see those huge plumes of smoke. Well, now the smoke is down in here, and that's what seems to be impeding some of that air attack, and that's crucial to fighting this fire, especially when you take a look at the terrain and how the size of this fire. We got a shot, in fact, of one home surrounded by that retardant. If you don't think it works, take a look at that. It's burned right up to that orange line. We also saw one of the tankers drop retardant right on a crowning tree in an effort to at least slow the spread of some of those flames. We have 5 air tankers that are going to be up later today, 5 more seats. That's a single engine air tanker, along with about 5 or 6 or so helicopters, including on one of those large snorkel ones that have those big Erickson sky cranes. And those things, when they dip down and go to Horsetooth Reservoir, they can pick up water in about 45 seconds and fill it up and then go out and spray it on the fire. So additional ground troops coming, if you will. We also have extra engines and also extra air support, all coming by tomorrow.
So that's the firefighting crew, the firefighting effort and response. Of course, don't forget about the thousands of volunteers that are helping those evacuees and those residents who have had to flee their homes and were anxiously awaiting some news about their homes. And they're standing by, a lot of them gathering at the evacuation center, which is now located at the ranch. That's in Loveland, and that's where we find our Christine Chang. She's been talking with residents there, and Christine, understandably, a lot of them just want some answers.
Absolutely, and they got some here today. In fact, Governor Hickenlooper stopped by as well, and he stayed a while here after the briefing to talk with some of the evacuees. And despite the goal, anyway, of the 10% containment to this fire, really anxiety is super high right now for a lot of the residents here, and you can't blame them. We're talking about day 4 of this fire already. Now, about 500 people showed up for the briefing this morning. This is at the First National Bank building I'm standing in front of at the ranch this morning. Many just found out that their homes are gone. We caught up with Clay Wise, a man we actually talked to yesterday morning. His house is now gone.
We're not going to dwell on going backwards. And I guess the hardest part is not knowing what's still left or if there's anything. But, you know, we're going to just keep going.
We hear it and we feel it, right? And there's no corner of this state where people aren't praying for the residents up here and for the firefighters that are putting their lives on the risk.
Well, the governor, along with a lot of the evacuees here, are so thankful for the outpouring of support from the community, not just for humans, but animals as well. In fact, we have a wonderful story we'd like to share with you that we discovered. A new baby alpaca, we should have the video here, born at a shelter right here, set up for animals. This happened a day after its mother was evacuated, and you can see it's healthy and seems to be doing fine. Alpacas, horses, goats, and other farm animals are now being cared for at the Ranchway Feast Pavilion, so they have a place to go as well. So a lot of you have been calling us and emailing us at the station asking how you can help those affected by this fire. First of all, thank you for that. Again, they're so thankful for the outpouring of support. While donations are good, really the local agencies here are asking for financial donations, only because this way evacuees can get exactly what they're hoping or in need of at this point. We're talking about the Salvation Army, Red Cross, Northern Colorado Chapter, Larimer Humane Society, all working together on this. So when you donate, be specific. Make sure that you make a note that you want your money to go to the High Park fire. You can also call United Way at 2101. They're working with volunteers, with also getting requests from evacuees on exactly what they need. And back here live in front of the First National building here again at the ranch in Loveland, there will be another briefing for evacuees at 3 this afternoon inside this building. It will be private just for the evacuees, again at 3 o'clock. Now we're going to toss it back in the studio to Bertha and Dale.
Thank you, Christine. I'm back from where Christine is this morning. I was up there at the evacuation center, and I'm with Dale Cedars in the Weather Center. We're talking about winds, which are a major factor today and kind of a two-edged sword. We want the winds to blow out this smoke. I mean, it's heavy from Loveland all the way down to the Denver metro area, but the more winds we get, the worse it is for the fire. And we want to show you how the winds have been fanning the flames. This was from Rotary Park at the Horsetooth Reservoir. You can see the flames fanned hundreds of feet into the air. Fire officials say in some cases those flames were reaching up to 300 feet. So what do you think, Dale?
Well, and you're exactly right. It is a double-edged sword, because part of the reason that those air tankers can't get up into the air is because of all that smoke. There's that inversion, and that's partially due to, you know, some of the cooler temperatures we're seeing, also just a lack of the wind. So you want a little bit of the wind to be able to move the smoke so those guys can get up in the sky, because that's going to be a big part to help them be able to get that containment line in. As we look at our temperatures, they're pretty mild, but really starting to warm as the day goes on. Temperatures right now at our closest monitor station are right there in Redstone Canyon, coming in at 69 degrees. Our humidity levels, you're noticing they're going to drop as our day goes on. Those started a little closer to 40% this morning. Those are dropping as we warm up, and unfortunately, later this afternoon, those could be dropping even closer into some teens, possibly even down to around 10%. The lower that number is, just the drier everything is, all the fuel for this fire to just burn and just take off with. This, though, is that light temperature, the wind speeds that we were talking about, 6 miles per hour coming in at our reading right there in Redstone. Now, those will pick up as the day goes on, so hopefully we can get those planes in the air maybe around 2 o'clock this afternoon. There is a slight chance that some folks are going to see some storms this afternoon. Let's take you through a futurecast and show you the burn area. I'm stopping it here at 2 o'clock this afternoon. You can see just kind of north of Wellington, a slight little patch of some rain showers and some clouds. Unfortunately, it does not appear as if any of that rainfall is going to get really close to the fire zone. We're going to see some clouds below, off to the north and to the west and to the east, but unfortunately just not really the rain showers that we need right here in this area. Now I'm going to widen this out, and I want to show you our front range futurecast so you can kind of see what we are expecting later this afternoon, as you're going to start to see the closest some of those showers are getting are a little bit closer to Longmont. Now there's a chance that some of this moisture could still get just close enough to increase those levels just to help those firefighters as much as they need. So coming up in our next hit, Bertha, we're going to actually take you through the rest of our forecast and let you know what you can expect, because we do have a chance for severe weather out on the eastern plains, and I'll detail that.
All right, we'll talk to you soon. Thank you, Dale. The High Park fire is getting a lot of attention, but there are several other fires burning in Colorado that we want to inform you of. And this is a photo of the Little Sand fire. This one's burning near Pagosa Springs. Craig Hall sent us this photo from Friday. Little Sand has burned 8,478 acres. This fire is now 85% contained, so we do have some good news for you. 85 is quite a percentage here. The Sunrise Mine fire is burning near Paradox. It is still smoldering, but the crews say it is 100% contained. That's fabulous. Now, in southern New Mexico, they're making progress on the Little Bear fire. Crews had good weather yesterday. That fire now is 30% contained. This fire was started by lightning, and it damaged 35 structures. This is near Ruidoso. Meantime, the Whitewater Baldy wildfire in Gila National Forest is also more than 30% contained, but this is a monster. At nearly 279,000 acres, it is the largest wildfire burning in the country. And here's another look for you, a live look at the High Park fire, and we are getting quite a hazy view. This is from the Bellevue area near LaPorte. Now at more than 43,000 acres, our coverage continues of the High Park fire through the hour, so stay with us.